My personal dividend growth portfolio, as you can see right here on the screen, seems to be going even crazier than ever, and this is just as of the last few weeks. The portfolio is now to the point to where it seems like more than ever, it's starting to honestly have a mind of its own and compound on top of itself more than I've ever seen over the last 7 years. But in this video, I'm going to explain to you guys why my long-term dividend growth portfolio seemed to really start to explode and has been growing much faster ever since it surpassed a massive milestone of $100,000 in value. Then I'm also going to share with you guys why the portfolio just as of recently seemed like to have another growth spurt because we just hit another milestone. So stay tuned to hear about that also. So if you want to see behind the scenes of a long-term dividend growth portfolio that seems to honestly have a mind of its own and earns me north of $6,500 per month, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So if this does happen to be your first video, welcome of course, and this right here is more or less every single stock and or ETF that I own as of right now across multiple different brokerages. Now as the 7-figure portfolio sits, it's currently earning me, like I said, somewhere of around $6,000 to $6,500 every single month. And believe it or not, this portfolio started off just like all of your guys' portfolio with a few shares of a single stock, but over the last 7 or 8 years now has grown into a massive portfolio, at least massive in my perspective. I know massive is all relative, but a portfolio to the point to where it could pretty much pay for a lot of my life expenses and then some if I wanted it to. Now, as of right now, I'm still reinvesting all the dividends that I earn on a monthly or quarterly basis into more shares of different stocks or ETFs in this portfolio. But later on down the line, I'm definitely going to dig into some of these juicy dividends and use it for things like bills, vacations, etc. But back to the title of the video, when this portfolio surpassed $100,000 in dividend income, the portfolio was generating roughly $5,000 per year. Now, we all have a different way to do things, of course. We all have different investing strategies and sort of psychological ways on how we compartmentalize different goals, etc. But for me specifically, one of the main things that I really pay close attention to is how much cash balance I have on a daily basis throughout my different portfolios from my brokerages in order to buy more dividend paying stocks or ETFs. Now, like I said, when this portfolio hit around $100,000 in value, the portfolio was paying me right around $5,000 per year because the portfolio had around a 5% yield on cost. And again, these are all just estimated numbers, but you're going to get the bigger picture here in a second. So at that point, the portfolio was paying me roughly $400 or so on a monthly basis. Now, if there's around 20 or 25 trading days in a month, that means the portfolio at that point was then paying me roughly $18 to $20 on a daily basis every single trading day. Now, like I said, we all have our own ways of sort of thinking of things, but for me personally, like I said, having a steady flow of cash balance entering my portfolio without having to deposit more money in my portfolio was one of the biggest unlocks to building a long-term portfolio full of different dividend-paying stocks and ETFs, and to this day, that is still one of the biggest unlocks and one of the biggest states of escape velocity. So when the portfolio surpassed the 100K, it's earning me roughly $20 more or less on a daily basis. And of course, it's not like the portfolio deposits $20 every single day. It's over the course of months and quarters, etc., because every single position in here pays a different dividend frequency. But when the portfolio got to the point to where it's paying me $20, $25 on average per day, it got to the point to where I was able to purchase a decent amount of more shares of different stocks or ETFs off the dividend income that was provided from all the assets I had in the portfolio. Now I get it, you're saying, well, a lot of the stocks and ETFs you have in here, you can't even purchase one entire share off of a daily amount. But the reality is that if qyld was $17 or so back in the day, I wasn't able to buy an entire share of qyld. That would then pay me roughly 20 cents per month the next month. And again, that's just a simple example, but it's a mindset. I'm now buying assets on a daily basis with at least partially a lot of money that the assets paid me in dividend income. Now, what I'm really trying to spell out here, I'm sort of making it more complicated than it needs to be, but when I really started to feel the power of compound interest was when the portfolio hit that $100,000 to maybe $120,000 in value mark. Now, of course, this does not mean that your portfolio is going to be the same. We don't own the same stocks or ETFs, and your portfolio is going to have a much different composition than mine. But for me personally, as a dividend growth investor at least, when the portfolio started generating enough dividend income to where my cash balances on a daily, weekly basis was able to purchase a decent amount of more shares to then, of course, add to my portfolio, which are also going to pay me dividends the next month or next quarter, that's when I truly felt escape velocity, and that's when my portfolio really started to have a mind of its own. Now, fast forward to the point to where the portfolio is at right now, and like I said, just as of recently, honestly, maybe over the last few months, I really feel another sense of escape velocity. And this is even during a point to where my portfolio has now been paying me, say, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 every month for quite a while now. But now with moving around some positions and buying some higher yielding items like SPYI, QQQI, etc., the portfolio's dividend income has never been higher, and if we looked at my $6,500 and divided it by 30, that means that more or less every single day of the week, even weekends, this portfolio is generating around $215 every single day. Now the craziest part about this is, most of my daily buys ongoingly now are maybe a few shares of SCHD, a share or two of Realty Income, and then like I said, as of recently, I've been buying a ton of SPYI, which currently trades just over $50 per share. Now with that $200 or so that I'm receiving 7 days a week now into this portfolio, and again, it's not paid to me every single day, I'm talking about on averages over time. With that cash balance now, I'm able to buy a significant amount of different dividend paying stocks and ETFs, of course, much more than I've ever been able to before. Now the compounding effect and of course the snowball effect, if you want to talk in dividend investing terms, is when the portfolio is paying you so much cash flow, so we are able to buy into a significant amount of assets pretty quickly, and truly not even have to deposit another penny into the portfolio really forever at this point. So if I was to just continue to spend my $6,500 more or less monthly on more dividend paying stocks and ETFs in this portfolio, the portfolio would continue to compound like crazy over the next several years. So much so to the point that where as of right now, if my portfolio that I just showed you is currently worth $1 million, which I honestly haven't even tallied up the entire portfolio value if I add all the brokerages together, but let's just say for argument's sake, $1 million. A $1 million portfolio with around a 5.6% initial annual starting dividend yield, 3% annual dividend amount increase across the entire portfolio, and around 3% annual share price appreciation per year. If I only added $1 of outside money into my portfolio for the rest of my life, at 31 years old, my portfolio would be worth almost $9 million, and this is by the time I'm 60. But maybe more important to me is looking at the annual dividends that are paid to me per year. Over time, year after year, if I just keep reinvesting my dividends into more dividend paying stocks and ETFs, depending of course on what I invest into, I'm going to see more or less $5,000 to $7,000 of additional dividends paid to me the forward year after year after year. And of course, as the compounding effect happens later on down the line, the numbers are going to get bigger and bigger, faster and faster. So I share this of course not to brag. I know that tons of people on YouTube and tons of people probably even watching this video have much larger and much better portfolios than mine. But I do just want to share some interesting aspects of first off growing my portfolio from 0 to that 100K mark and feeling an initial unlock and feeling that escape velocity where the portfolio really started to generate enough income to buy me a decent amount of assets ongoing. And of course the more recent unlock where now the portfolio is buying me not only a decent amount of assets daily, but it's buying me basically more or less every single asset that I would wish to buy. Even back when I used to deposit a ton of money into the portfolio, this portfolio is basically buying my daily buy list without me having to put a penny into it. But now lastly, most importantly, I want to hear from you guys down below. If you're currently building out a long-term dividend growth portfolio, and if you've had any sort of those moments, any sort of those unlocks, feelings of escape velocity, feeling like the portfolio is really starting to have a mind of its own, I want you guys to share those experiences with each other down in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like and subscribe for more future content like this. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.